Exciting game. Lots of points, lots of turnovers, lots of penalties, lots of things to correct, but lots of resolve on Notre Dame's part. Those kids keep playing. Sometimes it's not perfect, but they know how to win. So the one thing that's constant in that locker room is these guys know how to win football games. We'd like it to be a little bit cleaner, certainly, but again, when you're when you're dealing with an offense like North Carolina's, which we knew was going to be problematic for us, we couldn't turn the football over and spot them 14 points. You can't do that against anybody in the ACC and any Power 5 conference. You can't just say, here's 14 points and then go play from there. But we managed to find a way to battle back and get up on them, score 15 consecutive points late in the game, and get a win. So there's many things that I could delve into, but I would say that the thing that points up for me is that our guys know how to win football games, and they found a way to win this one, and that's the most satisfying. So with that, I'll open up to questions.
Brian, I think the term that you used during the week was it was going to be a race for space. Did they create more space even than you had seen on tape?
No, I was concerned. This was not an ideal matchup for us, and we just couldn't do what we did today and turn the football over and spot them points. I felt like we were going to score points. I felt like, and I made it pretty clear coming into the season, that there were going to be some games that we needed to outscore some people. I felt like on the schedule this was one of them. We just spotted them some points. I thought that that was the difference, and then I knew we were in a game once we gave them 14 points.
Obviously, you've been emphasizing protecting the football with Everett. You've emphasized it now for a couple weeks. Where do you turn? Where do you go now to get the point home?
I think we'll just continue to ask him to commit himself, during the week. I usually don't share a lot what I say in the locker room outside of what they produce for, the general, luncheons and things like that. But, when we talk about some specific things, one of the things I did mention to him is our kids really have to be on top of some of the fundamentals, and in particular tackling. Today was one thing that we're going to address this week, and ball security. Those two things have to be better for us moving forward, and that happens during the week of practice.
In the roughing that Snapper called, did you see Daly get roughed earlier in the game?
Yes. We had alerted the officials on what we thought were a couple of occasions that were overt, and made them aware of it. Actually communicated to us that they had seen it as well, and if it happened again, that they were prepared to make the call.
Tarian Folston today seemed to just really find the rhythm that he did last year late in the Navy game. Obviously seems quite healed, and his performance in the fourth quarter seemed to carry the day.
Yeah, and again, I think that's what we're, as we, work through the three running back situation, we got into a really good rhythm with him in there, tough yardage, breaking tackles, running through tackles, and that's what we've been asking the backs to do is to run through tacklers. They're physical, they're strong backs, and once we saw that he was going to run in that kind of manner and demeanor, he was going to get more carries, and he got the game ball today.
When you said North Carolina's a tough matchup, similar to Florida State, which you got coming up?
No.
In space?
No. Totally different animal.
Brian, down the middle here. Any update on Austin? What happened to him?
Yeah, he had a dislocation, a shoulder dislocation. So we'll get an MRI evaluated and see where we are once we get further medical diagnosis on it.
And Cody had was it an ankle?
Yeah, he's fine.
Marquise had over 300 yards passing and 100-yard rushing. What went wrong?
What went wrong?
Defending him.
Nothing went wrong. He's pretty good. I think what went right with him is that he's a, I think he probably was the guy that if there was one guy in the game that probably, took it over at times, it was him. He's difficult to defend. Great runner, threw the ball effectively. We couldn't tackle him. We had him 2 or 3 times where we couldn't get him down, missed tackles. He's a good player. Yeah.
Coach, there was a time when Everett got hit after throwing a pass and got up pretty slow, and Malik started throwing on the sidelines. How close were you to going to Malik when the change of possession happened so quickly?
Well, we're always looking to see whether a quarterback is affected medically, and so we're immediately in communication with our medical staff. If he's at all not able to continue because of any kind of injury, we have to pull him. And that's not my call. That's our medical team. So we're cognizant of that. So Malik has to stay ready and be ready in case we have to pull him in that situation. He felt like he was fine. There was no issues there. He was able to continue to play. But Malik's kind of keyed in on that to be ready to go if he has to go in right away.
You've talked about how this team might not have a number one receiver. Do you think Will Fuller has maybe emerged into that spot or is in the process of doing that?
I think right now he's kind of emerging as that, big play guy. I think we're looking towards him a lot more. But we have other pieces that really complement him as well. I don't think he can stand out there by himself. You know what I mean? I don't think he can say that's just one guy. But he definitely, possesses, the skills that has put him in the position he is right now. But he needs complementary receivers around him. He can't take over the game by himself.
With Folston, you had mentioned last week his pass blocking. Today he obviously had a big reception and was the go-to guy in the fourth quarter on the ground. What have you seen from him in becoming maybe a complete running back?
We've always liked him. It's one game. I mean, he played really well today. We love the kid. We love all our guys. It's just, today he did what he was asked to do. We ask all of our backs to do is that they got to block, they've got to catch the ball out of the backfield, and they got to run hard. The one question that was posed that was really the difference today and what we have been asking our backs to do is run through the darn tacklers. They are physical backs. And Turian did that today. He ran through tacklers. That's why he got the bulk of the carries. Not that the other guys did not do that, but when he was carrying the ball, he was running through tacklers, and that's what we asked him to do, and that's why he was the guy that was getting the carries late there.
Coach over here. Forgive me if this sounds similar to his question, but does an athletic quarterback like Williams maybe help you guys film-wise prepare for Jameis Winston next Saturday?
Not really, because the offense is really a totally different situation for us in terms of how to defend it. And a lot of their offense is predicated, North Carolina's is about him running the football. We tackled poorly. We executed poorly. We got to coach better. We just got to do a better job all around.
Brian, back to your right. You said you can't give up 14 points right off the bat to a Power 5 school. That happened a year ago, and the response wasn't the same. The easy answer is a more explosive offense, but what else is different that this team was able to come back from that?
We scored more points. I mean, we're better offensively. I mean, we can score more points. We have more weapons. We have the ability to come back in those situations. So, we're a little bit better offensively. We weren't playing Oklahoma today. North Carolina's a good football team, but it's not Oklahoma. I mean, I respect, what they're doing at North Carolina. They're going to be a really good team, but it's not Oklahoma.
Brian, just the early turnovers with Everett, how much do you think that tested his composure, and how quickly do you think he sort of got it back together?
It tested him because I tested him a little bit. I got in his face a little bit about, the first interception was, he's above that interception. I mean, that's a stick route that he's seen a million times. but I thought he handled it well. You know, he bounced back and, obviously put the ball on the ground again, which we weren't too thrilled about. But he bounced back, threw the ball with authority, and he was decisive, made some good decisions. But he's learning. I mean, he's getting through his progression a little bit. I think some of the things that he did out there that helps me feel better about the day itself for him was the check down to the back. That was his fourth read. Early in the game, he stayed on his front side receivers and didn't get through his progression. So there were some things there that I feel much better about that he did later in the game and got through his progressions. So to answer your question, that whole game, we saw a progression and process that got better at the end. That's a good thing because that interception could shut down some quarterbacks. He took the adversity of that and got better as the game went on.
I guess a similar question for your defense. This is the first time they've really been on their heels this season.
Yeah.
What do you want them to take away from that? And, what's kind of just the initial response you saw in there from them?
Well, our inexperience is still there. We lost Collinsworth, unfortunately, early on, and we started him for a reason because we knew we needed a great communicator back there. And so we were left back there with two guys that, struggle sometimes communicating effectively. On a couple occasions, they were both spinning down on the same play. When one's supposed to be spinning to the high hole, both of them were spinning down on several occasions. So those are real issues that we have to continue to work on. So, communication is still there. Some young guys playing in space. Jalen Smith trying to figure out where the hook and curl is when the formation flips so quickly that he doesn't know whether it's 3-by-1 or 2-by-2. And it's happening quickly. The game's moving quickly for these guys. If it settles down a little bit and they can kind of get their eyes settled on what the formation looks like, they're okay. We got to get better at that. But that's an inexperienced group that you saw out there today, and it showed itself. We got to get better.
I was waving.
My goodness.
You mentioned the tackling, the turnovers. Do you feel with a young group, the confidence of this team is hurt at all going into a marquee matchup next week?
No. I mean, look, last week, and I told them, you're going to have some of these games. You shake it off. You go back to practice. They've done some great things this year. They'll be ready to play their very best against Florida State. And but the nice part about it is we got great film and great teaching off of another win. That's the best thing about it.
Thanks for coming back.
Hey, anytime for you.